Alright, this is the Armytek Wizard C2 Pro. They say it can handle a drop from 30 feet, so we're gonna test that out. Alright. Yeah. Seems to work just fine. Awesome. So, this is going to be an interesting video. They make great lights, but Armytek is notorious for their poor customer service, and they managed to mess up my review sample, sending me the wrong version of the light, twice. Because of the mistakes, it ended up taking several months to get this review done. You know what though, I think the trouble was worth it, because this light is pretty awesome. Now, to be clear, Armytek as a brand has their fair share of issues, and I hesitate to endorse them because of it. Ultimately though, this video is about the flashlight they sent me and not the brand itself, so I'll spare my opinions until the end. The good news is that the Wizard C2 Pro is an excellent flashlight, and since I was sent 3 of them, I'll be giving one away to you guys. The Wizard is a right angle style headlamp and EDC flashlight with high output, great performance, and extreme durability. The standard version of the light utilizes a CREE XHP50.2 LED for an impressive output of 2500 lumens, while the Nichia 144 AR version produces 1700 lumens of high-CRI light. The C2 Pro has high sustained output and long run times thanks to its high-quality boost driver. The beam is very floody and is great for headlamp usage. All of these features come together to create one of, if not the best headlamps available on the market, and it's a light that I can highly recommend. Like other Armyteks, the Wizard C2 is designed to be extremely durable. Potted electronics and springs in both the head and tail allow for enhanced shock protection, and the light is rated for a 30-foot drop onto hard surfaces. The square-cut threads are very tight and sealed with double O-rings for water resistance up to 10 meters. The Wizard is basically a tube-style 18650 light with the head bent 90 degrees. The button sits at the side of the light, which orients it on top when placed in the headband. This placement is very ergonomic whether the light is held on the head or in hand, but I generally prefer the switch to be at the end, as it will always be easy to find, regardless of orientation. Still, the large prominent button can be found pretty easily in the dark. The body has a very simple design with a utilitarian style. There's a thick and chalky matte anodizing that provides a nice grip in the hand, with 2 thin grooved sections for the headlamp mount. The rear of the light has a strong magnet for adhering to metal surfaces and includes an internal proprietary magnetic charger. I generally avoid proprietary systems, but a magnetic charger like this is very convenient and doesn't compromise durability, so I think it's a good addition here. The light includes an unprotected 18650 with a 3500 mAh capacity. The included headband is made of thick elastic and has an extra top strap for a secure fit. The quick mount for the light is very secure and allows it to be rotated up or down. While the light is held very firmly, there is a thick rubber band that can be slipped over the light for extra security. Overall, this is a great system that makes for a comfortable headlamp. Also included in the box is a bike mount with a similar quick release system for the light. There is also a reversible deep carry pocket clip, which, depending on how it is placed, can be added without interfering with the headband mount. The build overall is very good, and this light can handle a ton of abuse. As a headlamp, it is very comfortable to wear and operate without being too heavy for long periods of use. Personally, I do prefer more dedicated headlamps, with the emitter being in the center rather than at the end of the tube, and I do find the right angle style of light to be rather awkward to hold and use in the hand. A lot of people really like it, but it's just not for me. However, I do think that this is a very well executed implementation of the style, and it is a very versatile design, which allows the light to be easily angled in any direction, for example, as an area work light. It also works nicely attached to a strap on a pack. Armytek has rather cleverly implemented an interface that can operate in either a simple standard style or more advanced mode. The simple UI is very straightforward and should be familiar. A single press turns the light on or off, while pressing and holding from off activates the lowest mode. While on, holding the button cycles upwards through the modes, and at any time a double press activates turbo. 3 presses activate strobe, and the light has memory for all modes, including turbo, moonlight, and strobe. Unscrewing the tail cap, then holding the button while screwing it back down will switch to advanced mode, which has rapid shortcuts to 4 different mode groups. There are mode groups for low, medium, turbo, and strobe, each of which has multiple levels, and all of which will be committed to mode memory. From off, pressing and holding activates low. While on, double pressing will switch between low and medium, and while off, double pressing will activate medium. A triple press will always activate turbo, and a quadruple press activates strobe. This advanced mode is pretty useful in that it allows you to jump around between preset levels without having to cycle upwards to get to the lower modes. Being able to rapidly and reliably switch between moonlight, medium, and/or turbo is pretty cool. However, it can be a bit confusing to use, and I don't think it really offers much over the standard UI, which is easier to understand right away. Still, I appreciate the added versatility here. The side switch possesses a small light which flashes red and green to display the temperature and the battery level. Maybe someone finds it useful, but I just think it's annoying, and mostly pointless as it won't be visible when the light is in the headband anyways. Unfortunately, this version of the light doesn't seem to allow for the indicator to be disabled. I just wish it could at least be solid instead of blinking. Due to its excellent boost driver and powerful LED, the Wizard offers great performance in either variation. The CREE model is extremely bright with over 2500 lumens on turbo, and the Nichia LED is surprisingly close at 1700 lumens on turbo. This is really impressive, and actually I consider it to be way more powerful than any headlamp should need to be. As expected, it will get very hot on turbo and step down to prevent overheating. Armytek states this is using intelligent temperature control, which senses the temperature and prevents overheating. However, I haven't seen this in action, and it appears that the step down is just timed. Either way, step down happens rapidly, and regardless of which turbo level is used, it drops down to 650 lumens for the CREE model and 440 for the Nichia. After step down, the sustained level runs almost dead flat for the rest of the runtime, which is pretty long thanks to the efficient driver. This is a really good sustained level for such a small light, and overall I am very impressed with the performance. Rather than just dying out, the light will drop to a usable low mode and run for another 2 hours before finally dying down to a moonlight mode. The high output level causes the head of this light to get very hot throughout its runtime. I do not consider heat to be an issue, seeing as the light is not normally held in the hand, and while the head gets hot, the body remains at a pretty reasonable temperature that still allows it to be held in hand without issue. The Wizard C2 is equipped with a beaded TIR optic that provides a very nice, super floody beam. I measured both lights at the same intensity with 2.7 candela per lumen. This is not going to provide much throw at all, even with the very high output, but I find that this beam pattern is perfect for headlamp usage. It's very wide and fills a large area and is of excellent quality with no color shifting or visible artifacts. The Nichia in particular produces a really awesome beam, which is a pleasant neutral 4500K and has great natural color rendering. In my opinion, this is the perfect headlamp beam. I really enjoy using it. The CREE model has the same great beam pattern, but is very cool at over 6000K and has poor color rendering. I know some people like cool white, but the extra performance is definitely not worth the trade-off to me. Perhaps the warm white version would be nicer, but my recommendation definitely goes to the Nichia model. Armytek uses a very nice tempered glass lens with a unique green AR coating, which improves light transmission while also removing just the slightest bit of green from the beam. Purely on its own merits, the Wizard C2 Pro is an excellent flashlight, with the Nichia model being a real standout for its great performance and wonderful beam. In terms of performance, build quality, beam quality, usability, and just overall design, this light is best in class, and is a very easy recommendation as a serious tool for working in the dark. I can't deny that the right angle style light is probably my least favorite configuration, but this is just about the best implementation of that design that I have seen. It's an extremely versatile and capable light that can perform well in many different roles. The Wizard C2 Pro is not cheap with an MSRP of $90, but I think this is a fair price for everything you're getting and represents solid value. There are cheaper alternatives, but nothing truly competes with the quality and feature set of this light at the price. I know both Zebra Light and Skill Hunt have very good headlamps, which are often compared, but this light has the magnetic charging, which the Zebra Light lacks, and has better build quality and a nicer LED than the Skill Hunt. Still, I'd like to eventually get all of these to compare directly, as they are considered the 3 best of the headlamp world. All that being said, the real elephant in the room here is unfortunately Armytek itself. My experience overall has been positive, but then I am a reviewer. Sites like Reddit and YouTube are replete with negative experiences from actual customers, which is prolific enough that this should be a serious consideration for potential buyers. I want to endorse this light because it's great, but I hesitate to make a recommendation on the grounds of Armytek's reputation. When they contacted me asking if I would review the Wizard C2 Pro, I requested the Nichia version of the light, which they happily sent. When I informed them that I had received the CREE model instead, they quickly sent the Nichia model, but I instead received the same, incorrect light. I was informed that this was an issue on the part of the Amazon warehouse that stocked and sent the lights, and that the issue has been corrected. I can only give the benefit of the doubt on this one, but similar experiences seem to be pretty common. Again, my experience has been fine, and I genuinely enjoyed my interaction with the brand even with the issues, so it's a bit hard because I feel it would be disingenuous to steer my viewers away, especially since I really like the light itself. And while there are lots of negative experiences online, there are also plenty of people, probably the majority I would assume, who have had great experiences. So ultimately, it's going to come down to you. Be an informed customer and use your judgment on the matter. Either way, I do recommend purchasing from a third-party retailer, which will provide an extra buffer from Armytek themselves in the event of any mishaps. The shipping problems are not the only controversies surrounding Armytek, unfortunately, but I cannot cover it all here. I will instead refer you to another excellent, actually much better review than mine, a review and analysis of the Wizard by Gusto, which covers it all pretty well. I highly recommend watching it. Alright, so as I said at the beginning of the video, I do plan on doing a giveaway of these lights. I have one extra CREE model in perfect new condition, and while the other two are a bit beat up, they still work well, so I'll give one away as well. I have not done a giveaway before, so bear with me on this one. I'll put all the details in the comments below. And with that, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. It is now over.